Okay, Ms. Hanson, what do you think about my lesson that I did today? I would like to know some improvements, suggestions, everything.
Um, what I really noticed, do I have to be in the square? Oh, okay.
Nothing. You can.
Okay. So what I noticed, Yatna, is that you were very, very careful to engage all students, and when Nicholas especially, or Tallulah also, maybe didn't really understand the meanings of either the root word or the prefix, you retaught it to them. You tried to engage them. You gave them lots of positive reinforcement. You retaught. You helped with pronunciation because Nicholas does have a lot of speech language articulation, so that was really good that you helped him. You checked in with Nicholas. You were trying to engage him, so you were really differentiating in the lesson. And you also gave them extra resources. You said you could refer back to this because I noticed, were a little hesitant because they didn't want to make a mistake. And you said, well, you can refer to this if you need to. So you really gave them the support in that differentiation. As far as things, it's hard for me to think of something because I thought you did really well in differentiating. I don't know.
I saw Nicholas. I've known him for ages. Like, I think this is my third year or second year teaching him.
Yeah, second year, because I think they moved.
Yeah, second year.
Yeah.
He's he didn't look tired, but he was off task. Like, he was in his own space, like spacing out and not focusing. And the other kids were trying to say, like, his twin sister is not here. And I said, I don't think we talk about others personal. That's all right if the schools are calling. If the student is not engaged, that's all right.
Yeah.
But you need to focus. But they needed a lot of reinforcement.
They did.
So
and reteaching. And this is harder than we would expect, I think. But it's really good for them because that's going to help them with those multisyllable words. If we can help them learn these prefixes and root words, I think it'll pay off for them. So I think that's why the Orton Gillingham program has us do morphology if we can, at least once a week, if not more.
Okay.
Because it's helpful as they move into science and math vocabulary and the more difficult words. And so fifth graders really need this morphology.
Yeah, I didn't introduce the word morphology because as I first spoke to them, they said, I don't know what a prefix means, so I had to go back and talk. So if I introduce the word morphology, I thought that'll be a hard word for them, and it'll make them feel like they do not know anything, or where they feel like insecure, like what am I doing or something.
Right.
So I did not introduce the word morphology at all.
Yes, well, and maybe for next, that would be something you might want to do to make a big deal about.
Okay.
Because that might help them put an umbrella or a big idea over this, and explain what is it. I'm going to teach you the meaning of this big word, and this work that we're doing in morphology will help you as you read more longer words, science words, math words, which we talked about this at the beginning of the year, but they may have forgotten. And we talked about how important it is for fifth graders to know the prefixes and the suffixes for science and math.
Okay.
So that wouldn't be bad to revisit because they might have that was at the beginning of the year when we talked.
Sounds good. What do you want me to introduce for the next lesson? What is something that I can do? Like anything? Stress on the same thing that I'm doing? Reinforce them?
Yes, and maybe add a few new prefixes and suffixes and root words each lesson. So in the Orton Gillingham training, they suggested maybe adding 3 of each in your next lesson. First review what you did already, then add some more. And if you want to add dictation, you can maybe you could make a little booklet, staple 10 pieces of paper together, and instead of fluency, you could add a dictation section where they can make their own notes about this and put morphology at the top, and they could write down the actual root words, prefixes, and that would be another way to kind of cement their memory, get it into long-term memory.
Okay.
So you could do the lesson, then dictation, and I do fluency the other days.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to think of how we can get them to get that in long-term memory.
Yeah.
Taking notes might help.
Yeah, I think this is the 3rd week or so they are working on this, and still they're struggling, which is understandable. I mean, blame them. But Tallulah was gone for a long time.
Yes, she was sick. So if you gave them each a little notebook, you staple like 10 sheet.
Notebook, 10 sheets.
Yeah, and that could be their dictation. And they could highlight, maybe if they write at this time or the next lesson, next time you could have them highlight all the root words. You could do different things with their.
So you mean the notebook? I have to prepare the notebook with the prefixes and the root words?
No, just blank paper.
Blank paper.
So you'll say, let's write morphology at the top. This is This is our notebook about morphology. Let's put down in this section. We'll put our hexagon,
the prefix word.
The prefixes that go and make a category for these prefixes related to number. And this will help us remember these are related to number. So help them kind of maybe categorize. And then the next lesson you could go back to it and review it, add a few more. You could give them a sentence with a word with a prefix, suffix, and they could write that, because dictation is really helpful.
So I bring up book, and then I ask them to write like uni. Come up with your own word for uni.
Yes, they could write that.
And list how many you can do it. Try.
Yes.
List how many you can.
And if they're stuck, then you could do it together. So you could see how much they could get independently, but then you could do that as a group. And then maybe a sentence or two where you say the unicycle is blue, and then they say the unicycle is blue, then they write the unicycle is blue.
Great. Okay.
So they practice.
So I like how Tallulah said, my grandpa is 90 decades.
Yes, perfect.
That's, I don't know if it makes sense, but she did a very good job in putting I don't know, I never remember using that kind of sentence, but that's a good start for her. She did a
very good start,
She did very good.
I
liked how she and
was
also
engaged.
Georgia was introducing the unicycle. Unicycles we can see only in circus. Unicycles, I came across unicycles in circus. That's where the clowns and all.
Yes, the clown rode the unicycle or whatever. Yes. So you can make up your just as simple as you can of a sentence, because spelling is really hard for them. Try to think of a sentence like the clown, because circus would be a hard word for them to spell. So you could try to say clown might be a little easier. You could remember ow is spelled O-W when you're spelling clown, like give them a few little hints if it's a tricky word. Because spelling is like the last thing to come. First, you really need to be strong in reading before you can spell it. So spelling is tricky for all of them.
Sure, spelling and sentence and categorize. And then book sheets. That's good. So today's lesson was good.
Yes, very good.
They needed a lot of reinforcement.
And I think after, you could do more games later, because I know you have to do 11 or 10 more lessons. But I think keeping this kind of a cycle of games, lesson where you practice, introduce the lesson, then dictation is another practice. So games and dictation and note-taking are the practice after you teach the lesson, where they're interacting with the words and more in a more independent level with your support.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Sure.
We'll see you next week.
See you next